Navigating the Israeli passport process, a complete guide. For Israeli citizens living in Israel, obtaining a passport is a necessary bureaucratic process that can feel daunting, especially when time is of the essence. Understanding the various options available and the quickest routes through the system can save significant time and stress, particularly for those facing urgent travel needs or tight deadlines. The standard process for obtaining an Israeli passport begins with scheduling an appointment at one of the Ministry of Interior offices, known locally as Misrad Hapnim. The Israeli government has modernized this process considerably in recent years, with most scheduling now done through the official government portal at gov.il/PIBA. This online booking system has dramatically reduced wait times compared to the old walk-in system, though availability can still vary significantly depending on location and time of year. Urban centers like Tel Aviv and Jerusalem tend to have longer wait times for appointments, while smaller regional offices often have openings within days rather than weeks. When you arrive for your appointment, you'll need to bring your Israeli identity card, known as a Teudat Zehut, along with any previous passport you may have held. If you're applying for a passport for the first time, or if your biometric data isn't current in the system, you'll also need to have a recent biometric photograph taken. Many Ministry of Interior offices have photo services on site, though it's often faster to have this done beforehand at a photography studio that specializes in official documents. The biometric requirements are quite specific, so it's worth ensuring your photo meets all the technical specifications to avoid delays. Once your application is submitted, you'll have a choice between standard and express service. The express service, called Darkon Express in Hebrew, typically processes your passport within 2 to 3 business days, though this can sometimes extend to 4 days during particularly busy periods. This expedited service comes with an additional fee of approximately 50 to 70 shekels on top of the standard passport fee, which itself runs several hundred shekels depending on the number of pages you request. For most people facing time constraints, this additional cost is well worth the significantly reduced waiting time. The standard processing time for Israeli passports, when not using the express service, typically ranges from 7 to 10 business days. However, this timeline can extend during peak travel seasons, particularly before major holidays like Pesach or the summer vacation period when many Israelis travel abroad. Planning ahead and applying well before any planned international travel is always advisable, though life doesn't always offer such luxuries. For those facing truly urgent situations, there's an often overlooked option that can be a lifesaver, the laissez-passer, or Teudat Ma'avar in Hebrew. This temporary travel document is designed specifically for emergency situations where a citizen needs to travel internationally but cannot wait for a regular passport to be processed. The laissez-passer can be issued immediately or within 1 to 2 days, making it an invaluable option for those dealing with family emergencies abroad, lost or stolen passports while planning imminent travel, or other unforeseen circumstances. The strategic advantage of the laissez-passer becomes particularly apparent when you're already visiting the Ministry of Interior for another purpose, such as obtaining or renewing your biometric identity card. Many people don't realize they can request the laissez-passer at the same appointment, saving an additional trip and potentially days of processing time. When you're sitting across from the Ministry of Interior clerk processing your ID card application, simply ask about obtaining a laissez-passer for upcoming travel. The clerk can process both documents in the same session, and you may walk out with your temporary travel document the same day or return to pick it up within 24 to 48 hours. It's important to understand what a laissez-passer is and isn't. This document is not a replacement for a regular passport, but rather a temporary solution for a specific journey or a limited time period, typically valid for 3 to 6 months. While the vast majority of countries accept laissez-passer documents for entry, it's technically considered an emergency travel document, and some nations may have specific restrictions or additional scrutiny for travelers using one. For routine international travel, you'll still want to obtain a proper passport. However, for that urgent trip to visit an ill relative or to replace a passport that was lost just before a planned vacation, the laissez-passer can quite literally save the day. The physical appearance and functionality of Israeli passports have evolved significantly over recent years. Modern Israeli passports are biometric documents containing an electronic chip that stores the holder's personal information and facial biometric data. This technology has streamlined border crossings considerably, with many countries now offering automated passport control gates for Israeli passport holders. The standard passport contains 32 pages, though frequent travelers can request an expanded version with 54 pages for an additional fee. Beyond the mechanics of obtaining the document itself, there are several practical considerations that can make the process smoother. First, ensure all your details in the Ministry of Interior's database are current and accurate before your appointment. Any discrepancies between your ID card and their records can cause delays while the information is verified and updated. Second, consider which office you visit carefully. While it might seem convenient to go to the nearest location, sometimes traveling a bit further to a less busy regional office can result in faster service and earlier available appointments. The Israeli bureaucracy, while often frustrating, has become increasingly user-friendly in the digital age. Many services that once required multiple in-person visits can now be initiated online, and the tracking systems allow you to monitor your application's progress. When you submit your passport application, you'll receive a reference number that you can use to check the status through the Ministry of Interior website. Once your passport is ready, you'll typically receive a text message notification, and you can choose either to pick it up in person at the office where you applied or to have it mailed to your registered address for a small additional fee. For those who find themselves frequently traveling internationally or who simply want to avoid future rushes, it's wise to renew your passport well before it expires. Many countries require that your passport be valid for at least 6 months beyond your planned departure date, meaning that even a passport that hasn't technically expired might not be sufficient for international travel. Staying ahead of expiration dates and renewing when you still have 8 to 12 months of validity left can prevent last-minute scrambles and allow you to take advantage of standard processing times rather than paying premium fees for express service. Understanding these options and planning accordingly can transform what might otherwise be a stressful bureaucratic ordeal into a manageable administrative task, ensuring that when opportunity or necessity calls for international travel, you're ready to answer with passport in hand.